we're going to sit down with one of our members, Nancy, who's been in the gym with us for, what are we,
I think end of May.
end of May?
Mhm.
Yeah. You had reached out to me about a month or so ago. We've had a lot of
Right.
conversation before now, but just wanting to share more of your story and your experience in the gym and all of
Sure.
that. So that's part of the intention today is just to let you tell your story and have a casual conversation with you about, yeah, why you're here and what you're doing and what your experience has been and all that good stuff.
Okay.
So you want to take a minute and just introduce yourself?
Sure. So how long do you want my story to be? I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So I'm Nancy and I moved to Montana in '09. So I've been here for quite a while. Started coming to CrossFit at the end of May. Didn't really know what to expect, but I came in with a friend on a free day and was just blown away because I felt like this is where I needed to be. And then the reason why I feel like I needed to be here was because of the encouragement. It's not like any other gym I've been to. I've been belonged to gyms all around the valley here, and I just didn't seem to resonate in my heart. And it was a totally different atmosphere. In 2008, I had an allergic reaction to chemicals I was working with, and I lost three-fourths of my lung function. So I was in the hospital for 9, 10 days. And when I was admitted, I had 19% lung volume, and then I developed pneumonia. And apparently, I was pretty sick. I was out of it, so I didn't even really realize until after the fact how bad it was. So just really struggling to get, not struggling, but have a commitment to not give up on myself. I don't really have an expectation, I guess, by coming here. Now, oh, this is all going to go away and I'm going to be 20 years old again. But just to have more mobility, more movement, be able to move air more freely through my lungs is my goal for being here. So that's about it.
What's been your experience of being here so far? What's the journey been like for you?
Oh, geez. And excuse me if I cry. It's been it's been so many different things. The camaraderie with all of the other gym members has been really nice. It used to be when I would walk in to the room, I would stand there and because you have a chair set up for me and you have all my little stuff around, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? And not knowing if I can do that, if my capabilities are not, or what if I can't do it? Am I going to be looked down upon or made fun of or feel bad inside of myself because I can't? And I haven't had any of that, which really surprises me. I decided that I need that what I want to do is meet my body where it's at. And that's what you provide for me too. And I assume that you have some expectations for me because otherwise I just would be sitting on the chair all the time during class. But for myself, just to get through the routine and to listen to what you say and listen to my body also. I hear my body quite well if there's something that's going on. So last Friday, I deadlifted 105 pounds, which was pretty
Yeah,
super cool. So you asked the question, what does that mean? I think you asked it to the group. And for me, that number means potential because when I started, it was just a PVC pipe. And I thought I kicked butt that day with the PVC pipe. Bringing it up to 105, I'm like, oh my gosh, what else can I do? I'm pretty excited about that. Getting here is half the battle. Once I get here, I really try to give it everything I've got because it's all about me. Put in what I need to put.
What's been your experience with Nancy? Like you're a newer coach on the floor too, but I know like when Nancy first started, we usually when we have new people start, we keep an extra coach on the floor just to make sure that they're taken care of. And knew coming in some of the extra circumstances with the lung volume and
Right.
all of those things. So you got to work with it kind of one on one as we got started in the group setting, but also, yeah.
It's been my experience has been interesting because I've coached a few classes, but what the role I feel like I've played more of especially early on in the process, was I think it's neat for us to be able to hold a class. And I think one thing we do really well as coaches and as a gym is make space for everybody, regardless of where you're at in your process. And I think the coaching is outstanding. We've had lots of conversation when we talk about how we want to staff the gym and run the gym and coach with the gym. I think there's something really neat about having that extra help on the floor when we need it. And to have someone, even if everybody's at different levels, I think it's neat to be able to go off on the side and help just give a little more support and encouragement and some of that walkthrough one-on-one. It really is like some private training in a group class. And I think that's the benefit that I've seen in some of that. And we do have a wonderful demographic that is nobody's trying to get to the games. We're just trying to get people stronger and healthier. And we talked a little bit about bone density earlier and just get people healthier and living their best lives and feeling stronger and the encouragement that happens from that. I think it's neat to be able to do that on the floor with the additional coaches and just move around that way. And we do. There's always a game plan every day. We have an idea of what we know we want to do with people and what our goals and where we feel like we can nudge people. And the deadlift, our goal for you was 55 pounds that day. But and
Fooled
knowing,
you.
and I remember starting with the PVC pipe, and we looked back at some videos the other day and watched where it started and watched where you were the other day and how wonderful it was. But also, our goal for you Friday was to graduate you from the training bar, which is 15 pounds. So I was like, it's going to be really cool to get it on the female bar. And wouldn't it be neat if we get a couple tens on each side? That number is 55. And to sit back, because I've been out of the gym now for probably about a month or so. I haven't been quite around quite as much because I've had some lung stuff going on. To be back in and sit back and watch what's happened, even in the 4 or 5 weeks that I haven't been around, and see the difference and you were just,
I
you
was
and a couple
crushing
more,
it.
you were just crushing it and moving it. And I was like, oh yeah, well, let's put a little more on it. Let's put a little more on it. And I love the fact that not only did you crush it, but I love our approach with finding out that there was not any soreness the next day.
That was
Really was profound. It's, oh, not only did you have the capacity to do that, do it well, but the fact that you weren't sore means you moved it really well.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about your recovery and us not overdoing it and just the approach we've taken. So I think that's what I get out of seeing those things. But I think it's super valuable that we have the ability to have someone else around and on the floor in those moments. And I'm sure it adds value for the members and helps you feel more safe and secure and all of
Absolutely.
those taken care of, really. Yeah, I think it's a completely different approach than what we've been around before.
Yeah, it's like I have my own coach. That's what it feels like to me because even though it's like my workout has to be modified. Doesn't really matter what anybody else is set up to do. Mine is always modified, which means it's that personal attention. And then also while I'm doing it, your eyes are on me. And then when I'm struggling or okay, rest, it's like you intuitively know because you've watched me enough to know that. And I really appreciate that. I don't feel unsafe. I remember early on, I think when we were doing the Murph, I'm not sure.
was gonna say, I think one of your early workouts was Murph.
Yeah.
I think that was like workout number 10.
James had me on the rings and I was so afraid I didn't have the arm strength to pull myself back up. And he's, wait a minute. And he went and he got a chair and he put the chair behind me. And it's sweet. I can do this now. But it also made me have confidence in myself, but also confidence in you guys because you knew exactly what I needed. And I didn't know what I needed. I was like, okay, do something else. But no, we'll do this, but we can fix it for you.
How has your mindset shifted with do you come in and we usually still have things like set up before you come in. Try to do that I try to be mindful of it not feeling like we're only doing that for one person, something that's kind of on my brain. And the 9 a.m. class, we usually have multiple
Yes.
setups, but also being very aware that I don't want that to feel like you're being singled out and all your
Yeah.
stuff set up, right? So that's, I don't know if you know that, but that's something that goes into that. And but how has that shifted for you in terms of, I guess, how you relate to your own settling? Like when you come in the mornings and see things set up, do you feel more confident going into
Oh,
workout,
yeah.
being like, okay, like I'll be able to do this today versus as that
So
evolved?
it's coming in now as I'm curious. Oh, what is she going to have me do today? And how much weights is she going to put here? Or I can't remember what the workout was. And I thought I was doing, snatches. I thought I was doing 5 pounds. And I put it down. It was like 7.5. And I'm like, what? I thought it was 5. Yeah, it's like a curiosity. And it's also, am I pushing myself enough? Can I do one more? Living with this, and I think we've talked about that. It's, am I not doing it because I can't, or am I not doing it because I'm afraid? And can I push through that fear and be successful? I have to take that chance sometimes. And sometimes if you push through that fear, you're not successful. But you can't live your life being blocked by that fear.
I think one of my goals for you in that in here is feeling like if you're going to take a chance and you're going to roll the dice to do so here, because you're being held and
Mhm.
you're being watched and there's
Right.
people around you and there's support. And it is cool when you have those moments you surprise
Mhm.
yourself, but it does also feel like there's more of a container to try versus like at home when you're by
Right.
yourself. Right. And I still want you to feel confident enough to try. But here, like if you're going to pick any moment to like try and do something that might scratch at
Right.
an edge, just do it here because we got
Yeah.
you. Right. So it's been really cool to see you like pushing
Mhm.
yourself and trying. We've created some different rhythms in the gym the last couple
Yeah.
weeks and with your rest and work and stuff.
Mhm.
But
So how I usually move at home, and I know we've talked about this, is I'll, especially early on when I had this, it was, okay, how many steps is it going to take for me to get into the other room and get what I need? And then I would write down what I need. So I'd have to make 2 trips. So I would go to the room and grab what I needed and rested and then went back. And the other day when I was here, and I think I was on the bike and then I was going to, I think, the medicine ball. You didn't want me to rest in between. You wanted me to go from the bike, then to the medicine ball. And right away, I'm creating this story. I don't know if I can do this. It's going to be really hard. And when I'm like, no, you can move slow. You can do it. And I did. And I think I did a 2 8 pound. And then I rested and then I finished up my round. But for me, that's very helpful because it's getting me out of a lot of what I do sometimes is probably unconscious because I've been doing it since '09, '08. So getting me out of that and having small successes might not seem like a lot to somebody, but it's huge for me. And if I can turn that switch off and the other switch on, then I can do more and more. Yeah, potential. So I really appreciate it.
what was your Libby invited you, right?
Yes.
Bring your friend Lee.
Yes.
What was your first thought when she said to come to CrossFit with you? Or for you to
I think she asked me over the phone,
okay.
and I think I did a eye roll, and I think I said, "Are you?" And I only do that because of what I've heard about CrossFit in the past. My son and daughter-in-law are CrossFit coaches, and they're very competitive. So I would be at the house when they would come home and, "Oh, yeah, we crushed it, and I lifted a phenomenal number," and so I never knew of the other side of CrossFit. So when she told me she was coming to CrossFit, I was like, what? I couldn't picture that in my head. And then when I came here, I mean, I thought, I can't do what the workout that they're doing. You had me all set up. And actually, when I was doing the row and I was crying, and as I'm rowing, I'm like, oh, this is really going to help. But it's that release. It's that knowing that this is where I need to be, and also, oh my gosh, I can do this. So, yeah, I was surprised that I liked it, that I loved it. And then I had to have cataract surgery, which set me back. And I was more bummed. But then I just went and I told my son, he goes, to my son about it. And he's, oh, yeah. He said, we modify all the time. I've got a 70-year-old. And I'm like, Really? Because that's not, I never heard any of that. I think that's the part that needs to go out because I think there's a lot of us my age and maybe a little bit younger and older that are so intimidated by CrossFit because they don't see it as, I look at this as functional exercise.
It's interesting when we talked about doing this, I think I shared with you the day we had that conversation of something we've wanted to do for a while is figure out how to tell the stories of our members because we are I don't even want to say that we're doing CrossFit different. This is the intention of CrossFit methodology, and it gets lost a lot in public eye. And depending on where you're seeing things or finding things, whether it's social media, probably a big component, who you know,
Right.
right? Those types of things. And it was like, man, like we need to tell the stories of our members. It's also awkward to ask. Like for me, it's awkward to be like, "Hey, do you want to sit down and talk about CrossFit and how awesome of a time you're having here?"
Well, yeah,
Like
yeah. You can
it
pay me later. I'm just
feels it feels strange. And then it's like, how do we pull the trigger on that? When do we pull the trigger on that? And then you had approached me about just wanting to share your story and kind of document your journey. And we're like, we'll start with Nancy. Perfect. And as a green light to go ahead and do it. And I think that day before we had that conversation, we had 3 or 4 people from 9 o'clock and we were all sitting around talking about, I had no idea that this would
Yes.
be and is and all of that. And so it's been nice for that to feel like confirmed in being able to share that. But it is, I agree, like how do we tell more people? And I think for us as business owners, it sounds like it's shtick. We're sitting here being like, CrossFit's for everyone and we can scale and we can modify and it is for you. And it's like, yeah, you're running a business, like you're gonna tell people because you're trying to get people in
Right,
your
right,
door. And I think this is hat number 2 for us, right? Like our primary job is we're acupuncturists, doctors of Chinese medicine. And so that's like we're healthcare providers first. And CrossFit was this fun thing that came into our
yeah.
lives 6, 7 years ago that has expanded into us owning a gym. But it's not, we have no agenda with it other than we just want to share it with people and help people connect to. I love that you're using the word capable. And I know we've used the word resiliency a lot, but you just that's why we're doing this is I love the 105 pounds for
Thanks.
you. And
Okay.
if you would have only done 55 pounds that
That would have
day,
been
it
awesome
would have
too.
been just as
Yeah.
badass as the 105.
I totally
And so it's an interesting lens. I don't know if you have more to add to that.
No, I think, and I've been saying this. So, um, for those watching that don't know this, Devon's my daughter,
Yeah.
and we've been in the gym together forever. She's collegiate softball player, played lots of intensity around it at a pretty high level for a lot of years. And so and she was always smaller than everybody else. So in order for her to compete, she had to get in the gym and get stronger. And she wanted to get in the gym and get stronger. Dad was happy to be there and help. So I learned a lot of these things, but even the mantra when she was young and just starting out, probably middle school and starting to lift some weights and really lift some weights. I remember the mantras were always in those moments when things got heavy was I was always in the background like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Because they want that to be the self-talk. I want that to be your voice in your head. And the moments of you're stronger than you think you are, not pushing you beyond limits you're not capable of, and it's not about pushing more weight. It's not about the 105 or
right.
55. It's about the voice in my head that says, I don't know if I can do this. And our ability to lean into the idea that I'm stronger than I think I am is so powerful for people. And in our role as healthcare providers, we do so much mental emotional work in the treatment room. It works in there too. Strength is different for everybody. So I think through this process, especially with our demographic, and to instill that level of confidence and walking up the sidewalk today, you guys are finishing your workout, and one of the members was finishing a run. And I remember just on the sidewalk as you run by, I was like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. It's neat to
Yeah.
be this far into this, now starting with you when you were young to like the message hasn't really changed. And it's really about reminding people that there's more inside and strength is not always what I put on the bar. It's about finding what I need to try. The joke that we've always talked about, that the hardest part about starting CrossFit is showing up to first class. And anybody knows our CrossFit story. Like we started at a gym, CrossFit Taylors, which you shout out, but they were brand new. And I'm the guy that doesn't like walking in places where I'm the new guy. And the negotiation was, hey, they're brand new. We're all new guys. So I wasn't walking in somewhere where, so that's what got us there. It was like, let's go try this. I won't be the new guy walking in the gym because we're all new. And it was great. And here we are years later doing this thing. But I think that mantra of you're stronger than you think you are. And yes, I can. I think when those are the voices in our heads, there's so much we can do that we probably didn't think we could do. And to watch it show up in the gym and still, if I'm standing across the room watching, even in my head, sometimes that's what I'm saying to myself for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless of who it is, whether it's you, whether it's Libby, whether it's Andy, whether it's
Sure.
Nicole, whether it's like, that is the conversation I'm having inside my head. Sometimes it comes out, but I think it's so powerful. And I think it's such a neat way to
And I think that's
watch.
what makes
watch-
you good coaches because you're excited for us. And maybe that's not the correct word because I can feel that. I mean, yeah. And I'm sure, and that's why when I came here the first time, I'm like, this is where I need to be. When I remember you were coaching me with something and I was picking up, it wasn't a deadlift, but I was picking up the bar and I started crying for no reason, and I know the reason. And so I said to you, I said, "Oh, I'm having a moment here." You looked at me and you're like, "Okay, have your moment," and then pick up the bar. And in my head, I'm like, you know, "Okay, he's gonna see I'm crying, so don't. Maybe you should go to the bathroom, and I hope he doesn't talk because I'm gonna cry more." And you did exactly what needed to
Yeah.
be done. And I didn't go to the bathroom. I stood there and did what I needed to do, and then I bent down and picked up the bar. But it was the perfect response. Someone was like,
I think the excitement piece, absolutely excitement. The excitement is because understanding what those little breakthroughs mean
"They're
for
huge."
you on a life level, on an emotional level. It has nothing to do with the weight on the
No.
bar. And I also think I appreciate that story because I also think that's what makes us unique.
Yeah.
Is the work that we actually do in the treatment room. We see, I think it changes how we show up in the gym.
Oh.
And there's a different understanding as healthcare providers, like the priorities keep you safe. But because of the work we do in there, you talk about it all the time. Like it's what happens in people's hearts is so much more important than the rest of it. And the ability to hold space and allow people to just find their way with some of that and not really make a big deal about it,
Right.
but
Right.
also be able to recognize it and hold space and understand. I think it's a super valuable tool.
It is. Yes.
Uh, and I think it's a whole nother layer of what we're doing in there that a lot of people don't even recognize, but it's happening.
It's interesting too, because this was one of the things that surprised me when I first started coaching. I don't surprise is probably the right word, but people are in there for all sorts of reasons. And I think there's this perception, and I'm going to say fitness as a whole, that people are in there just I think there's a whole group of people that are in a gym doing fitness because it's what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm supposed to go to the gym and take care of my body, right? There's this cultural push of,
Yeah.
are you working out? Are you moving? And so you get a lot of people that go to the gym because they think they're supposed to, right? And then I don't think that's how people end up in a CrossFit gym for that reason. Like most people end up there because they knew someone and or they got drugged to a class, right? But when I first started coaching with CrossFit and I got my first couple experiences of overlapping clinical work with coaching and starting to learn more about the members, most of them were in there dealing with their stuff. The people that enjoy lifting heavy weights, it's empowering. So whether that comes from a place of I don't typically feel very confident and this helps me feel confident, strong, capable, or I just want to feel like a badass and move something that I know nobody else can do. Some people are using it to process life and stress and all of these things. And it's the 1 hour that they get to shut the rest of the world off. And when you realize that in connection with the things that we know people are going through, like behind closed doors, you're like, oh, like that's why they're here. They're not like being fit's cool and we want you to be healthy and moving weights, but it's the extra time and space. It's not even time in terms of like attention. It's just space around people to hold that and be like, yeah, if you're having a rough day, like I've cried in the gym before. I've done more of it since we've been in Montana than I probably did when I was in South Carolina. And some of that is it's movement, it's things moving through your body and just releasing. You mentioned the
Yeah.
release earlier, and you're like, well, where did that come from? And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Do you feel better now? And they're like, yeah, I feel fine. You're like, great. And sometimes it bring that thing that we're trying to shove down and stick aside just sneaks up on us. And that's life. And I think those are some of my favorite conversations in the gym of like, you showed up today and it was hard. And some days I know getting here is very challenging. And I'm here. I did it. I did my best of what I had to give today. And how do we give people permission to just be where they are? And I think one of the things that gets lost sometimes, I'll say fitness space in general, but a couple other CrossFit experiences I've had where it's we'll just turn it off, buckle down, grind through. But what we don't acknowledge in that is their life, the hard things that are happening outside of these walls are still waiting on them. What if we help them use this as a tool to acknowledge it? You don't need to have therapy while you're in the gym. And at the same time, if it happens, we're here for you.
Right.
And I've had many conversations with different people. Look, if you need to go outside and release, let it release. If you need to go outside and like neighbors might freak them out, but it's okay. They'll be all right.
They'll get over
They'll
it.
get over it. But if you need to cry, if you need to get angry, if you need whatever that is, and if you need to do it here in front of the bar, great. And if you need a little bit of space, we have a back room. If we have a couple people in the evening that have some other stuff, they showed up before. I was like, I just can't do this today. I'm like, okay, go on, take care of yourself, reach out if you need anything. But that has nothing to do with CrossFit and everything to do with the hats that we hold elsewhere. And it can be such a powerful tool for people to feel like they have something to process, just like people meditate, right? What if it's not meditation? What if it's deadlift?
Yeah, right.
It's interesting to have a safe space to show up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are. The people that are dealing with some of those things through their physical movement don't always know that.
Yeah.
It's subconscious, I think. It oftentimes surprises people when it shows itself. But I think that goes back to the community piece. I think having a community of people that you know are supportive and you're all in this together. It's neat to know that if something comes up for someone, it's okay and all of that. But yeah, it's been interesting. I think that piece is important too.
Well, and the whole setup of the gym is completely different than any other gym I've been in. There's no mirrors. And it's like you're working together as a group. And I've gone to a lot of group classes, but you're still in that room by yourself. You're doing your own thing when everybody, which this is different. Yeah, we're all doing our own thing, but there's more of a cohesive doing your own thing together. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I've gone to Senior Strengths, and I'm not going to say exactly where I've gone to it for 2 years. And it was 45 minutes, 2 days a week. And I've gotten more out of this. I've seen more improvement out of just coming here and that 2 years that I spent in senior strength, which blows my mind. I tell everybody.
Nancy needs to drag someone in here.
I tell everybody.
One of my favorite moments Friday, aside from you guys' deadlifts, was Brendan's not always in the morning class.
Mm,
And when he acknowledged the difference between when he
I
remembered,
know.
like last time, I was like, that was such, and I'm not sure Brendan is such, it's such a part of the community. And if his show starts at 5:15 every night. So shared time, he's quite entertaining. But that moment to me was super powerful and speaks volumes to our community.
Yes.
It says, last time I saw you do this, you were using it. And it's one of those things like, he didn't have to say that. He didn't even
Right.
have to acknowledge it. I'm curious, as that moment came up for you, how'd that feel?
For starters, I was all caught up that I can't believe it. But then when I heard him, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It felt good that somebody else noticed.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, woo, fist bump and this and that, which was awesome. But the fact that someone verbalized it like that, that he sees my improvement. And that's why I said that the 105 is potential, because I'm like, okay, May to August. Okay, August to October. Where am I going to be then if I just come 3 days a week?
You are one of our most consistent members too. I get a handful of people, but it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And we have our ACES club set up to, if you're coming 3 days a week, that's where we feel like we can help you get to wherever it is that you're trying to get to. Like life comes up and less is okay. But there's also the model of CrossFit, right? Is train 5 to 6 days a week. And it's great in theory and would absolutely love to have you here more.
Right.
But it's also cool to have that and be like, but that is consistency for you. And it is a nice balance of challenging yourself and giving yourself space to recover and feel like you can show up and do it again,
Yeah.
that it's not running you into the ground and you're seeing progress. I think that's our measure of it's a measure of the programming and the coaching and all of the things, but it's nice for that to be enough. And I think I've had to shift my mindset around that a little bit, both for myself in the gym, but also as we've opened here, because the place that I came from, most of us were in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, and it was fun and it was great. And I know, like, same thing, no soreness, not a lot of injuries, like all of the things, and it was cool. And I think when we first started, I was like, man, like, how do I get them in here 4 to 5 days a week? And having to take that step, I'm like, it's enough and it's great. And you're having fun, you're seeing progress, you can feel good, both inside the gym and outside the gym. And that being okay has been really cool. And we do still have some people that show up 4 or 5 days a week, like Andy and Nicole are usually here almost every day. But I think being able to that's been a huge area of growth for me as a coach and as a new affiliate owner of being like, that's great. And it's cool. And yeah, the whole journey has been really interesting.
Another moment celebrating, highlight our community too. I don't think you're probably not aware of. Tuesday morning, when we had a couple members show up and we started writing their things on the walls. Tuesday, the community sat here reading the walls of what happened yesterday when they were here. And the celebration that happened in that room over the numbers that made it to the wall was really neat too. As all of the stuff and all of the fitness and all of the making people welcome and feeling comfortable and making sure we're honoring CrossFit the way it is. There's nothing more exciting than to be able to sit back and enjoy the community celebrating each other and just being here and rooting each other on and all of it. It's pretty special.
I think so too, because I don't feel like I'm in competition with anybody else. Obviously, Nicole is how old? I can't compete with Nicole. And if she can lift whatever, go for it. Maybe someday I can't, but right now I can't. But I'm so happy for you. It's like to meet me where I'm at, not meet anybody else. And I know that there's people in here that have injuries and things like that. You can't see them. You can see mine. That's a difference. Everybody has something except Nicole. She's young.
Let me remind her all the time.
Right,
You're 17 and very
But to be happy for somebody else who makes that number. Libby, I was just thrilled that she was coming across, but I couldn't believe it. But yeah.
One of the things we're working on as we shift some language and one of the mantras in some of our advertising you'll see soon, because it's going to overlap with the clinic, is living your best life. And it's neat to see people coming in, doing what they need to do for themselves, showing up for themselves, and getting stronger and getting healthier. And especially and with our population, it's just, what does that look like for people? What do you need to do for yourself to live your best life? And what you need to do for you is going to be different than what Nicole needs to do for Nicole, and what Andy needs to do for Andy, and what Libby needs to do for Libby. And I think it's really neat to build that container and that be the message. We've introduced, we had the nutrition challenge last month, which may have seemed really simple with the content, but I think it was educational for a lot of people. Don't really think about it. I love the fact that we're starting to talk a little bit about some mindset stuff, because that all is so much part of us. It's that message. Is like, what are we doing to live our best life? Because we can come in and we can do the workouts and go home, but it really is, yes, I can. And you're stronger than you think you are. And how else do we integrate that so we take it home with us and we really do feel like we're living our best lives?
What's something outside of your experiencing yourself getting stronger and being able to do more in the gym? How has life shifted for you outside the gym?
For me, I was not always, but my focus a lot is on my breathing. And for me, what I noticed is I can carry my groceries from my car. What I used to be able to do is carry them from my car, get into my apartment, and then I'd have to sit down and then catch my breath, you know, and then I turn this off, and then I go and I turn my condenser on that's on the wall. 9 times out of 10 now, I don't have to do that. So I can grab my groceries from my car, walk into the apartment, open the door, walk in my apartment, put my groceries down, put this down, turn this off, sit for a minute, and then go turn that on. So I have more capacity, a little bit more stamina. And some days are iffy, but that's okay. But for the most part, I feel like I'm walking, like I have more strength up in here. I feel more put together. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like all my parts are adhering to myself. I feel like my core is stronger.
In your
Yeah,
mind?
yeah. So yeah, I know that I can have more movement without having to rest.
What are some of your goals?
Oh my gosh, to continue.
Gym life.
For the gym, I want to continue, obviously. I think for me, it's adjusting to being here 3 days a week. So once I get over I have to nap when I get home. I eat like a pig and then I nap. Once I can get over that, I would like to add another day, but I don't want to push myself on doing that. My goal is to continue this through the winter. I don't want to say concerned, but I'm wondering how that's going to go. It might be a little challenging because I'm up in Whitefish, but I still plan on coming 3 days a week for that. I guess my goals would be just to continue. I don't have really any goals as to, I guess I do increase strength, increase mobility, become more confident in who I am. I'm in my body to feel healthier. I can always feel healthier. I'll take that. I think that's probably about it. I do have this little fantasy about deadlift competition for myself in my age category. Actually, I do. So I'm just throwing that out there. Whether it's a whether it's a goal or a fantasy, I don't know, but I'm
Documenting. Oh.
Well, and I think that was part of the invitation too, is when we first talked about this, we want to do some kind of regular check-ins with Nancy. And I like the format of that. So I think as we do this, I would love to, we'll pick a time and kind of check in and get to follow your journey a little bit. I think
awesome.
that was part of the goal in all of that. But,
and I guess my other goal is to not have this as often.
Okay. Do you have any questions for us individually?
No, I just want to thank you guys, heart to heart. Yeah.
Thank you for being such a big part of our community.
Yeah.
You are a big part of it.
Thanks.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Cool. Good talk. That's how I end all these because I have nothing else to say.
Good talk.
I'm talked out. Leave it or that's my nap time.